Alright, so in this video I'm going to show you how I go from this all the way to this by sharing what I was thinking throughout the build. And I'll show you how to build this mountain backdrop too without any mods at all. By the way, I actually spent over 50 hours building and filming this a while back for a mod developer friend named Shawesome, who put a few pieces into his mods for me in exchange. So check out his insanely creative mods with the links in the description. And of course, I have to say that although I am super busy these days, all of my free time has been going into finishing the almost 70-hour-long adventure map experience, which only has 2 more big updates to go. And for my channel members, that means extra bits to explore for those updates, and even some extra bits under the mountain in this build. And for everyone else, I hope that this video helps a lot. So let's go. I think maybe if I take this hill and bring it up here, yeah, this one did not work out. Alright, so the blueprint is filled in. Alright, so I want to change things up a little bit. Normally I build things with infinite health pieces, which means that you don't have to actually build supports like iron beams and poles. But honestly, I really would like to share a little bit more about what I'm thinking, and I think it'll be helpful to actually support things properly. So that's what we're going to do in this video. You can see I am using debug mode though, so I don't need that, and I can just focus on talking to you guys. So normally when you're playing Valheim, you have kind of an idea in your head of what you need in your build. And so for this build, I don't have that, right? I just have a few requirements from Shawesome. Like I don't need a kitchen over here and a storage room over there. So what I'm going to do is just try to keep in mind that a variety of shapes is going to make the most entertaining kind of thing. So I've got 2 different rectangles here. I'm thinking maybe some kind of like chimney over here. Not really sure at the moment. That didn't work, but that works for now. And I'm thinking like a front entrance over here, but we've got this really long plain wall in the front. So maybe a tower right there. Alright, so I added a little bit of a tower. It's nothing fancy, but I think it'll definitely help this wall in the front. I think going this way, we'll probably add another tower, and maybe I add a little diagonal wall here since everything else seems to be left to right or forward to back at the moment. Alright, so here we go. We've got a diagonal wall going across. It's going to be really interesting to see how this roof works out, especially because at the moment it doesn't line up there. We'll see if we kind of adjust this. And I'm thinking, you know what, maybe we change this tower to a square just to kind of do something different, and this whole thing probably needs to be a little bigger. Alright, there we go. That is a little bit wider, and also we've got a square tower in the right. I did just want to bring the front entrance out just one further than the tower, since it kind of feels like maybe that should be the main feature. But now it's time to work on the vertical blueprint. Alright, so I've got the basic shape of this circular tower in, and I just want to explain a little bit about what I was thinking. You can kind of do circles in 2 different ways. You can angle it once, or you can angle it twice. You can see when you angle it twice, you get these really hard corners, and I don't want that, so I chose to angle it once to get this nice kind of smooth circle. Also, you can see that the next thing you can change is the length of your sides. I didn't want an absolutely massive tower, so I chose to just go with one nice sized brick for each turn. Before, we created the circle from the outside first. The new circle is created from the inside instead. Now after that, I decided to do something a little bit different and actually use stone pillars going up the wall and just kind of stagger them by placing a little individual kind of stone brick piece like that, so that they go up, going back and forth. And the reason I did this is because but the next thing I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is just place some stuff like this and then place a nice little stone floor right here on the bottom. And I'm going to do that all the way around. So I've got a nice contrasting color, but also it looks like it could actually support the tower. So I just want to merge these two colors by grabbing one of the pieces in the build menu that gives you more snap points. And you can see normally if I press up against this other stone pillar, I have these two spots, but now I have this one right in the middle because of that piece right there. So I've got this cool stone pillar which is scooted over 0.5 meters and down 1 meter. You can also slide Grouston pieces to get rid of the line between them, which you could do with a mod, or you could do with one of the pieces that gives you more snap points, like wooden doors, core wood, and now Grouston pillars or Grouston floors. So then I just want to do that one more time up above. The easiest way to do this is just going to be to destroy these two pieces real quick and just place like this and then put those back. And then that's it. We have a merge from stone floor to stone pillar. And then I just want to keep the same idea going up here. So if I just grab my Grouston piece again, I can just go ahead and get that 0.5 meter spacing, and we can keep the tower moving in as it goes up for kind of a realistic feel. Alright, so the stone circular tower is in. The next thing I want to do is start carrying the same theme that I came up with here across the build and fill in the frame. So here in the front with this diagonal wall, I'm just going to start bricklaying some bricks. I'm going to do the same thing in the back. If we just take a look really quick at the roof above, we've got the diagonal roof that comes in. Nice little two-tiered roof just for fun, just to add a little bit of emphasis on the edge of the roof. And this is going to meet up with this roof, and then this roof just lines up right here across the middle of the rest of the build. Alright, so I went ahead and added some stone floors in because I think right here this line going across might be a really nice line for that contrast. Alright, so the rest of the wall is filled in. I'm liking this spot for a window, and I think just carrying this stone floor line across might be a good idea. I could probably fit it in here, and now we've got two lines, which is really nice. A nice spot for a big window, maybe another window here, and now I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the back. Alright, so we've got a little spot for a window here, nice filled in back wall. Of course we'll carry these supports across, we'll add a window here, but I want to get started with this window first. Alright, so I've got a little bit of a window frame built. You can see I did that 0.5 meter spacing again, so that the window is halfway into the wall. And then on the outside you can see how simple the frame is at the moment. Just a little bit of a roof overhang sticking out over the edge, and maybe another little bit of stone floor for that contrast once again. But now I'm just going to try to fill this in with some darker details to match the rest of the build. So just a little bit of free placing here. Maybe that's something kind of nice. I've also been thinking about maybe doing a little thing. Alright, so with just a little stone arch here, and then a Grouston piece once again for those extra 0.5 snap points, you can see that I can create a little bit of a sticking out piece, which I think is kind of cool. And if I put those in the corners, it might help to bring in some darker contrast with the lighter wood, but then it might also just change up this window a bit. And I was thinking about maybe even using that on the edges of the roof as well. All right, so here we go. We've got a kind of cool little window here, a bunch of contrasting colors, dark and light wood, you know, just a little roof sticking out over the top. We've got these kind of guys sticking out from the edges. Now this circular tower is supported by 4 different iron poles going to the top. And I've ran some iron beams connecting to the closest one so that I could put a little stone feature coming out of the roof up here. Alright, so we have a window, a little window gap there, a nice diagonal roof, a little window here in the back, and we've got this stone feature supported by iron beams. It looks okay, but I may just remove it. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is fill in this front entrance. I've already actually carried this stone floor across. I think it looks pretty good. And what I did too is I went ahead and brought these kind of coming out as they go down, which I thought was cool. So you've really got this thing where it like comes down and out and then down and out again. I think that's awesome. And then for the door here, I was thinking I want to go ahead and once again we'll get that 0.5 meter space. I'll just free place for a second. And we'll have it kind of back in the wall. Alright, so this is what I was talking about. Just once again using that 0.5 meter spacing. And the door is actually now halfway back on this block, not the main wall. And I've got a nice little wood line here for a little bit of contrast, and then, you know, the same door up here up top. And maybe here we'll add, you know, some wood also. I'm thinking maybe some of these guys just to have some darker wood here with the lighter wood. Alright, so next I just want to move up the wall to this wooden section that sticks out from the stone. And here we've got a lot more room to work with than this window feature. So I've worked a couple of layers in. First of all, we have the back layer sticking out 0.5. We have the next layer. And then all the way at the top, you can see sticking out another 0.5. All right, so now you can see that if I go to the sides, you can see the difference in the layers really well. And if I'm down low, I can see the difference in the layers going up. And then you can see up here, I've even got a spot for just a little sticking out roof over top of the window. Alright, so I just want to keep working my way down the build, filling in kind of a basic plan on the blueprint. Here, I want to do something unique though. I've got a cool little 2-tiered roof, which is a little bit unique. And then you can see I've already got a stone wall sticking out. Maybe I'll do a bridge going across. Alright, the stone wall is complete. You can see I alternated stone floor to rough stone look. Then I went into stone pillars. It comes out and then it goes out 0.5 spacing to create this really unique wall here. And going around, we've got the tower, which is not as much unique. You can see I just carried that stone floor line across, carried this stone floor line across, even took a detail for the window from the front entrance right here, same kind of thing. And of course down here on the bottom is just more of the same. So very simple idea for the stone tower at the moment. 0.5 spacings here at the top. Definitely going to change this, but this wall is in, stone tower is in. I even ran some iron poles up here to get some stone. Next I'm going to fill in this wall and this roof and also this bridge. Alright, so it is finally time to come around to the back of the building and fill in the blueprint. You can see I've already gone ahead and added some kind of different shaped windows here just for some variety. And I've also carried around the supporting thing that I've been doing. And what I'm thinking for this wall is to have maybe 3 identical windows here, and then just copying or kind of mirroring this vibe up top with the stone floor sticking out. We'll see if that looks good in a minute, but I've gone ahead and filled in this wall here because I really wanted to see what this stone floor looked like with a wall next to it, and it's starting to really kind of fit a little more, I think. Alright, so you know, the idea of this video was to share everything, and yeah, this one did not work out. I mean, it's like the roof up here. I really think that's like the worst roof I've ever made. But we're gonna remove that, and we're definitely gonna remove this. It's, you know, yeah. But yeah, we're just gonna keep working our way around the build, filling in these walls, filling in the blueprint, and then we'll fix everything. All right, so I've done something else that I didn't want to do back-to-back ugly things. So I wanted to show you the throne room. I really like this cool little throne room. We've got some 0.5 meter spacings. These little stairs are in the console. They're a little tricky to work with, but I just spawned them in for this cool little spot up here. But I did some more work. I guess I was thinking, like, you know, there's 2 of these, and maybe if there's more, it'll look cooler. But yeah, it's not great. I honestly could just make this the thumbnail, like what not to do ever. I tried to alternate the colors, and it didn't do anything. So I'm gonna keep working on things, but just no. Alright, so the blueprint is filled in. You can see I have both the types of windows, the little one and the tall one. I got the stone floor sticking out again with some supports. This whole center window sticks out 0.5, which I think is really nice, and it's got some supports down low. I was also able to get some windows into the roof up top in the plain sections. Long window here. I even added some little supports connecting the circle tower to the wall here, which I think is really cool. And over on this side, I just did a little bit of the same thing. Trim this down a little bit, but you know, now it's time to go around and really polish up the build. Alright, so the stronghold is complete. The castle, keep, whatever you want to call it, but I feel like we need some details on the outside. So I worked up some ideas, you know, a little bit of kind of vines hanging from these wooden things, some stone archways. As you go around, there's a little lamp post I used in a couple spots. You can spawn in this lantern from the console. Another stone archway. You know, just tried to keep it really random feeling, like maybe some old stone ruins from an old castle. And as you come around this way, I actually already built a wall, and I think it's pretty cool. Just the same theme, stone floors going in, stone floors coming out, and I think it turned out pretty cool. I think maybe if I take this hill and bring it up here, and then maybe if I copy this on the other side and bring the hill up, this might start to feel like a really safe base. So let me see what I can do. Alright, so the build is complete. For those of you that are still here at the end of the video, thank you for being here. If you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like or subscribe. It helps me out a lot. So you can see I added a little tower to this wall on the left, and of course over on the wall on the right, which is a little taller, I've raised that tower up a little bit to match the taller wall. And come back in here and show you. Once again, we just went for the stone ruins kind of vibe. I think it turned out pretty cool. There's a little wall back here, and you can take this little portal up to the top of the tower. Also, you can see the raised terrain around the back. It honestly makes it really cozy back up in here. And above that terrain is this mountain. Now, I didn't do anything with mods here. No scaling, no rotating. All I did was what you guys can do with commands. So spawn rock formation 1. If you need to delete it, force delete 10. Just make a backup before you use a command like force delete, and have some fun creating yourself an awesome mountain backdrop for your builds. Or you could build on top of a mountain. Or also, members, you have an entire area inside of the mountain where you can come and make a little base in here if you want. And you can also check out different elements of the build, like the old bridges and you know, just close-up little elements, and also some modded elements that I removed and decided not to keep in.